Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am an alcoholic through and through, and today, by the grace of God, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I could not be any more thankful. I want to pitch in today and talk about the AA tradition. So today's monologue, I will be speaking specifically on AA. You're like, well, Drew, why are you doing that? Well, as I've said many times on this monologue, AA, the 12 steps of AA, is the only thing that worked for me to get me sober. I know many drug addicts who have worked the steps of AA, and lo and behold, they got clean too. So, for me this morning, there's been a lot of discussion anyway lately about traditions of AA and all that. So I want to take this opportunity and speak specifically to the traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. Myself, as I said, myself and several of my friends, we got together, like-minded individuals who shared a common problem and a common solution. We said, let's do what Bill Wilson himself writes. Let's carry the message to those still sick and suffering. And so we created a group, and our group, we derived one single primary goal, and that goal is to connect and engage with anyone who suffers from substance use disorders, and to communicate to them a message of hope, healing, and restoration. That's simple. We're going to connect and engage with people, just like we do in our crosstalk meetings, and we're going to communicate to them a message of hope, healing, and restoration. That all three are possible. And so sounded like a great plan. And so we said, okay, well, let's kind of navigate these waters here and figure out how to form this group. And Bill Wilson himself, he wrote literature on it. There's a pamphlet number 17 called AA Tradition, How It Develops. You can go out to the AA website, and they clearly articulate that the AA traditions are specifically for the AA group. Great example on their website, on their webpage. It says, continue to provide AA groups with a framework for success. Groups, not individual AAers. The traditions provided guidelines, not rules, in parentheses, not rules, that would help AA groups then and in the future. So right there on the website alone, we can conclude that the 12 traditions were written for the groups, how the individual AA groups operated. Now keep in mind, Bill was dealing with groups in California and all over the continent, and so he's trying to give them these guidelines, hence the AA traditions. In pamphlet number 17, called AA Tradition, How It Developed, on page 5, he clearly states, to state sound principles of group contact. On page 38, the AA group follow these traditional principles for the same reason that the individual AAer follows the 12 steps. So the group follows the traditions, the AAer follows the 12 steps. Simple, right? Simple. So, okay, sounds good, Drew. So as a group, we said, well, what message are we trying to communicate? What message are we wanting to communicate? And we needed a source of reference. And so as a group, we adopted the 12 steps of recovery outlined in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. We also adopted the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Matter of fact, every single crosstalk meeting we have, there's a big fat line in there that we say publicly. If you hear something that cannot be reconciled with what is in the Big Book, please regard that statement, as that person's individual opinion or suggestion. So we're very clear, very specific. So we adopted the 12 steps of recovery. We adopted the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous as our source of reference. So why not adopt the 12 traditions? That's where we had to stop. And since we stopped there, since we did not adopt the 12 traditions of AA, over the last 2 years, we have received a lot of criticism. It's criticism we knew that would come. We gladly welcomed it. But just criticism nonetheless, and even to the point where some people, I was told, was calling for my blood. They were calling for my blood. Yes, I was told that. As crazy as it seems, they said we were distorting and confusing the message. Well, I'm not sure how, because we're communicating the same message from the same source that you are. They said we were violating the traditions of AA. We were disparaging and disrespecting the traditions of AA. And I got this even from pastors too. Yes, pastors of churches even told me this too. So why not just follow the traditions? Why not just become an official AA group? Well, to put it short, we were told not to. We were told, yes, I know, it's hard to believe. We were told not to. I even got it in writing too. If anybody wants to see it, I even got it in writing. We were told not to call ourselves an AA group. So therefore we could not follow the traditions because mainly we just wanted to reach everyone, regardless if they were drug addict, alcoholic, whoever. We just wanted to reach people and communicate that message. So we were told in writing not to call ourselves an AA group. Who told us this? Who told us this wicked and dastardly, gave us this wicked and dastardly direction? Who is this person? Bill Wilson himself. See, even long before, I got sober and my friends got sober, Bill Wilson outlined for us in another pamphlet, in another source of literature, which you don't too terribly often anyway, on these literature racks when you go to an AA meeting. It's called Problems Other Than Alcohol. It's pamphlet number 35, Problems Other Than Alcohol. It's a great little pamphlet. And on page 3, actually on page 2, I'm going to read this from Bill Wilson's own hand. He wrote this in 1958, by the way. It's in the grapevine. Bill Wilson's own hand. Sobriety, freedom from alcohol, through the teaching and practice of the 12 steps is the sole purpose of an AA group. Okay, fair enough. It has also been learned that there is no possible way to make non-alcoholics into AA members. We have to confine our membership to alcoholics, and we have to confine our AA groups to a single purpose, being sobriety, freedom from alcohol. So wait a minute. You're telling me that non-alcoholics can't be members? Yeah. Well, that doesn't mean drug addicts, right? Oh. On page 3 of this same pamphlet, reading right here, got it highlighted. Page 3, Bill goes on to say, therefore, I see no way of making non-alcoholic addicts into AA members. I'm not making this shit up. It's right here. Experience says loudly that we can admit no exceptions, even though drug users and alcoholics happen to be first cousins of sort. We must accept the fact that no non-alcoholic, whatever his affiliation, can be converted into an alcoholic member. It's on page 3. And again, pamphlet number 35, if you don't believe me. On page 5, it was thus proven that as individuals, we can carry the AA experience and ideas into any outside field, whatever, provided we guard anonymity and refuse to use the AA name for money raising or publicity purposes. Okay, that's fair. Later on, page 5, we cannot give AA membership to non-alcoholic narcotic addicts, but like everyone else, they should be able to attend certain open AA meetings, provided, of course, that the groups themselves are willing. So what he's telling me is that non-alcoholic, that drug addicts, can only attend open AA meetings, and only those meetings where those open meetings where the group says, hey, okay, it's all right. AA members who are so inclined should be encouraged to band together in groups to deal with the sedative and drug problem, but they ought to refrain from calling themselves AA groups. Well, shit. Bill Wilson himself wrote that, not me. I didn't make this shit up. There seems to be no reason why several AAs cannot join, if they wish, with a group of straight addicts to solve the alcohol and the drug problem together. Okay, that's cool. But obviously, such a dual-purpose group should not insist that it be called an AA group. Bill Wilson's own hand, 1958. So that's why we didn't adopt the traditions. See, many people think that we didn't adopt the traditions and that we're disparaging and disrespecting those AA traditions by not adopting them, by not following the AA traditions. When in fact, all we're trying to do is respect what Bill Wilson wrote back in 1958. If anything, we respect AA. If anything, we respect the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. And that's why we're not following them. That's why we didn't adopt them. And that's why we're not adhering to those traditions. Because the last thing we want to do is look like a bunch of hypocrites. See, the AA 12 steps is what worked for me. The AA 12 steps is what worked for many other people. The traditions work for the group, not the person. So, I hope that I've shared enough with you to convince you that we're not trying to disrespect AA. If anything, we're trying to protect AA. And we're trying to protect and respect their traditions. That being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys, absolutely keep me sober, and I cannot be more happy. We'll talk again tomorrow. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.